If you love cozy fantasy, this book might be your next favorite read because it honestly made me want to quit my job and start my own magical bookshop. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Busy Book Club, where I help busy readers figure out which books are actually worth their time. Today we're going to be talking about Spellshop by Sarah Desberth. This is a completely spoiler-free review, so if this book is sitting on your TBR, you are safe here. I'm going to talk about what this book is about, who I think would enjoy it, my favorite parts of the book, some book club discussion questions, my rating, and then we're going to talk about what I'm reading next week. The Spellshop is a cozy fantasy following Keela, a librarian who has spent most of her life surrounded by books rather than people. After the revolution forces Keela to leave the capital, she returns to her childhood island where she rebuilds her life. She ends up opening a secret spell shop surrounded by magical plants, interesting neighbors, books, and a magical assistant. One thing I do want to point out right away is that this is a cozy fantasy. The stakes are much lower than that of other fantasy novels. This isn't a story filled with constant battles or huge action scenes. This book is truly about rebuilding friendship, community, magic, and building a life that feels truly meaningful. There is romance in the story, however, it is not the main focus. The heart of this book is truly about finding your place and finding your people. I think this book would be good for anyone who enjoys a cozy fantasy, readers who love legends and lattes, anyone looking for a comforting feel-good read, and readers that enjoy slower-paced, character-driven stories. All right, book club discussions. What was my favorite part of the book? My favorite part of the book was honestly the setting. I know I said this earlier, but this book genuinely made me want to quit my job and open up a magical spell shop because the island felt like a place I would actually want to live. Keela's island is such a quiet, peaceful place, and it feels completely different from the busy world she came from. There's something so comforting about returning to a place that feels familiar, but also discovering it again as an adult. It has a small town feeling where everyone knows each other, everyone has their role, even the smallest moments feel important. The ocean adds so much to the atmosphere of this book. There's something about being surrounded by water that makes the whole story feel slower and calmer. I could picture the waves, the salty air, the slow morning, and this feeling of escaping from everyday life honestly made me want to slow down in my own life and enjoy the little moments more. The garden was probably one of my favorite parts. I love the idea of magical plants in a place where nature and magic are connected. As someone who loves books, plants, and cozy spaces, this was basically my dream setting. Okay, question 2, how does Keela's relationship with the Islanders change? One of my favorite parts of Spellbook was watching the relationships develop between Keela and the Islanders. At the beginning of the book, Keela is very standoffish with everyone. She's very independent. She's doing everything on her own. She's very much an introvert, and she has spent the majority of her life hiding behind books. And she wasn't always comfortable with the unpredicted, messy parts of relationships. But when she returns to the island, something really beautiful happens. They all start to slowly welcome her in. And I love that this wasn't an instantaneous, like everyone's best friends. It was very natural. They welcomed her, they supported her. They reminded her that she doesn't have to do everything on her own. There was something so comforting about watching this community really rally around. And I think that's what the book is really about at its core. The heart of this book is finding your people. Question 3, how does Keela change from beginning to end? Well, like I said at the beginning of the book, Keela was very comfortable, who was someone just kind of staying in the background. She's a librarian who spent most of her time hiding behind books and being with books rather than being with people. She likes order, routine, and keeping things safe. But as the story progresses, she slowly starts to step out of her comfort zone. Her journey is really learning that community and friendship is just as important, if not more, than knowledge and independence. I loved watching her grow from someone who was afraid of any sort of change to someone who was willing to completely rebuild her life. All right, question 4, did this book make me feel something? The biggest feeling I had while reading The Spellshop was just calm and pleasant. There was something really comforting about being in a world where everyone cared so much about everyone, where simple moments mattered and slowing down wasn't seen as a bad thing. And that was probably one of my favorite parts of this book, is that it made me want to slow down in my own life. So overall, I did really enjoy this book, but there were a few things that didn't work for me. It did feel very slow paced at times. Because this is a cozy fantasy, the stakes are much lower. If you're looking for non-stop action battles, this book probably isn't for you. But if you're looking for a very cozy read, something that maybe just brings you a lot of joy, comfort, peace, and makes you want to slow down, I think this would be a good book for you. Because this is the Busy Book Club, I always want to answer the most important question here is this book worth your time? For me, yes. Again, if you're looking for a book that makes you feel cozy, it's kind of like a hug, I think this would be a great book for you. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more action-packed, something a little bit more exciting, then I would steer away from this book. I'm giving the Spellshop 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Love the atmosphere, the characters, and how comforting this book felt. All right, next week we are switching gears completely. We are reading His and Hers by Alice Feeney. If you've already read it, let me know in the comments what you thought, but please no spoilers. If you haven't read it yet, you've got a week to read it with me. If this review helped you decide whether to read the Spellshop or not, please let me know. I'd love for you to subscribe. My goal is to help busy readers find the books that are really worth their time and spend more time enjoying great books. Until next week, keep reading, even if it's just a couple pages. Bye.